Hello friends and welcome to this special video. Today is the birth anniversary of the founder of Rotary, that is Paul Percy Harris, and this is a tribute to him. Paul Percy Harris was born on 19th April 1868 in Racine, Wisconsin, USA to Cornelia and George Harris. At age 3, he moved to Wallingford, Vermont, where he grew up with the care of his parental grandparents. Paul Harris attended school in Wallingford, Vermont. Later, he attended secondary school in Rutland. He was a cadet of the Vermont Military Academy. Paul Harris was a student at the University of Vermont in Burlington. He tried out for the freshman football team and earned a spot on it. His time at school was cut short by the death of his grandfather Howard Harris in March 1888. Though Paul Harris completed the semester, he did not continue the next academic year. Instead, Harris spent a year working for Sheldon Marble Company in West Rutland, Vermont. After the year, he made good on his promise to his grandmother that he would work hard, make something of himself, and honor his grandfather's memory. He spent the next year working at a law firm in Des Moines, Iowa. After this apprenticeship, he enrolled at the University of Iowa and graduated with a Bachelor of Laws in June 1891. He later received several honorary degrees, including a Bachelor of Arts and a Doctor of Laws from University of Vermont. For the next 5 years, he worked odd jobs for a newspaper as a salesman and a reporter, on fruit farms, as an actor and cowboy, and on cattle ships that traveled to Europe. In 1896, Harris settled in Chicago and opened a law practice at Chicago itself. 4 years later, he met fellow attorney Bob Frank for dinner on Chicago's north side. They walked around the area, stopping at shops along the way. Harris was impressed that Frank was friendly with many of the shopkeepers they visited. He had not seen this kind of camaraderie among businessmen since moving to Chicago and wondered if there was a way to channel it, because it reminded him of growing up in Wallingford. Later, Paul Harris said, and I quote, "The thought persisted that I was experiencing only what had happened to hundreds, perhaps thousands of others in the great city. I was sure that there must be many other young men who had come from farms and small villages to establish themselves in Chicago. Why not bring them together if others were longing for fellowship as I was? Something would come of it." Unquote. Paul's clients were business friends, but they were not social friends. And he wondered if there were any reason why he could not make social friends of his business friends. At least some of them he thought could be social friends. He convinced a group of businessmen banded together socially. Then he thought that there would be an special advantage in each member having exclusive representation of his particular trade or profession. The members would be mutually helpful. He resolved to organize such a club. Who should be asked to join? One thing he was certain, they must be friendly men. He thought of his client, Sylvester Schill, the coalman, and then he thought of Harry Ruggles, a printer who had been supplying the needs of his office. All these were approachable, friendly men. Then he thought of others who did not seem to pass this test. He talked matters over with Schill and also with Gus Loher. He liked them both and thought they would like each other. And on the first convenient occasion, he introduced them. They did like each other. There was much in the past lives of the two men to justify the belief that they would understand each other and enjoy each other's companionship. On the night of February 23rd, 1905, the first meeting took place at Gus Loher's office in the Unity building. Sylvester and Paul had dined together at an Italian restaurant on Chicago's near North Side. Gus, by pre-arrangement, had invited a personal friend, Hiram Shore, a merchant tailor, to whom he had previously introduced Paul. The meeting enlivened by the relation of personal expenses, after which Paul unfolded the general purpose of his plan, and this became known as the first Rotary Club meeting. The significant occurrence of the second meeting was the introduction of Harry Ruggles, the printer. It was Paul Harris's idea to have a group of men of every line of business and profession who should, in the spirit of the Golden Rule, practice friendship and cooperation. In February 1907, Harris was elected the third president of Rotary Club of Chicago. Toward the end of his presidency, he worked to expand Rotary beyond the city. Some club members resisted, not wanting to take on additional financial burden, but Harris persisted, and by 1910, Rotary had expanded to several major US cities. Harris recognized the need to form a national association with an executive board of directors. So, in August 1910, Rotarians held their first national convention in Chicago, where the 16 existing clubs united as the National Association of Rotary Clubs, now Rotary International. The new association unanimously elected Harris as its president. At the end of his second term as Rotary president, Harris resigned, citing ill health and the demands of his professional practice and personal life. He was elected president emeritus by convention action, a title he held until his death. Paul Harris used to practice at the law offices of Harris, Dodds and Brown in Chicago. Paul Harris loved nature. He was an avid bird watcher. In 1908, he joined a newly formed group that organized monthly Saturday afternoon walking trips through the forest, fields, hills and valleys around the city. In 1911, the group became the Prairie Club and Harris served as one of its directors. Paul Harris met his wife Jean during an outdoor excursion put together by the future Prairie Club. He married Jean Thompson on July 2nd, 1910 and lived together in the house in Morgan Park, where they continued to entertain friends from around the world and host meetings and reunions of the Rotary Club of Chicago. The Harrises named their house Comley Bank after the street in Edinburgh, where Jean had lived as a child. Harris would settle in Beverly neighborhood of Chicago, where he lived until his death in 1947. So friends, this was the story of the founder of Rotary, Paul Percy Harris. Thank you for watching. Subscribe my channel and share this video with your Rotary friends. Thank you.